All right. So we begin. Back at it as usual with even more to bring to you. The topic of many, many topics and avenues that I could go into. However, it's always best to just simply speak from where I'm at and what I'm doing and what I got going on. And there's a lot. There's a fucking lot. And that's exactly how I like it. There's a lot going on. How I manage to keep up, how I manage to flow through my days and my tasks, how I manage to still stay sharp, on point, through it all. I surprise myself sometimes, but then again, it should be no surprise. It should be no surprise. Because we are motherfucking IMC Nation, and simply put, this is what we do. And lately, there's been some talks of utilizing what fuels you. What fuels you, right? What kind of fuel do you have that's really pushing you through the obstacles, that's really pushing you through just the day-to-day? What is making you go for what it is that you're going for, right? We all have the fuel, some sort of fuel within us, something that keeps a flame consistently igniting itself like a furnace, right? Something within, a fire that burns within, that fire that feels like passion, right? Right. And you know what they say? Success is the greatest form of revenge. And this is a saying that I heard really early on when I was about probably like 18 or 19. And I think I heard it in like a Nipsey Hussle song or some shit. And at the time I was making music, and I had two close partners who I considered mentors at the time, two guys that were older than me. And they said as well too, they said, bro, your success will be your revenge. And so that's something that is stuck with me. It is stuck with me, and I've been using that for a very long time now. My whole entire path, everything that I have done and that I'm going to do does have a little bit of revenge in the mix of it. It's funny to think about. And I think most people have that. Most people have that. Everybody desires and has this fantasy of some sort of outcome where you're the one on top, and then you could look back and then just give your middle fingers like that, right? So what fuels you? Now we could break this down even more. We could break it down, because a lot of my own personal fuel is extremely dark. It's very dark, to the point to where I haven't brought up a whole lot of it up until recently, only to the people that are close to me, that I start talking about this type of thing. And even then, I don't even think they understand yet, or maybe at least not until now, that these types of things are what fuels me, right? But see, that's more on the dark spectrum of it. At the same time, there's a fuel that's more on the light side. I have a lot of fuels that are not from the dark side, that are not from the pain, that are not from what's harmed me throughout my journey, but more so from the light that comes from more of a place of love, right? It has nothing to do with all of that, all of that dark shit. So let me give you an example. I'll give you a good example of my light fuel. And I talk about it a lot. When it comes to light fuel for me, what fuels me, for example, the love of my mom and my dad. Growing old in age, and me evolving into the man that I am, as time goes on and more resources come in, I plan to aid them more and help them into their old age so that it's a much, much smoother transition for them. Because from where they're at right now, they're not going to be able to do it themselves unless someone steps in. They've been going to my grandfather for help, right? But he's not going to be around forever either. He's not. So I'm going to have to step in and do something about this. Why? Because I truly love them and they truly love me. Now, I could take all of which I just said there, and there is a source of fuel right there. That's on the light side of the spectrum. Dark side of the spectrum, I won't get into it exactly right now, but I'll give some examples. And I think these examples go for anybody, right? The one size shoe that could fit all, right? First and foremost, betrayal. I think everybody has faced betrayal in their life. It's a very common thing. So let's not even speak about betrayal like it's some like you're the only one, right? Like you're the only one. No, everybody's going through it. Everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through betrayal. Why? Because there's a lot of fucking shitty people out there. A lot of people out there that just run around. They don't have any ethics. They don't have any morals. They don't have any strong self-code. They don't care about their health. They don't care about others. They don't even really care about themselves, right? So obviously, yeah, you're going to get betrayed, right? You're going to get betrayed. So that's number one, right? That's just one example. I think everyone's dealt with that. Yeah, I could list many more, but I think that's like the main one, probably. You know, things like getting cheated on, et cetera, et cetera. Tends to be a good source of fuel for people. And I think people along the way, along their path and their journey have utilized this quite a bit. I don't recollect like, for example, Think and Grow Rich talking about this really. Think and Grow Rich more so talks about something called sexual transmutation, which is the desire of sex fueling people. Because wanting sex is also a source of fuel in of itself, especially for men. The desire for sex can drive a guy to do many different things. I mean, we already see what happens to guys when they enter into these relationships, long-term relationships, or get married. Part of which why they do it is because it's guaranteed consistent sex and they don't have to look for it anywhere else. Plain and simple. They could talk about, oh no, you're wrong. It's love. It's love. Oh, I love you. It's like, no, bro, shut the fuck up. It really comes down to sex, right? Because we all know if a marriage is sexless, that marriage falls apart. So how important, or how much do you really want to play that off? Huh? How much do you people really want to play this shit off? Everything comes down to sex in this world. So that's another fuel. Sex and money is like, I don't know, cheese and wine or chocolate and wine. I don't know, whatever great chocolate and ice cream. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, goes hand in hand. But I think it's important to really think about what fuels us, what pushes us, and what drives us, and to keep that in our minds. Because we can forget, we can forget while on this journey and on this mission. I forget. I forget what's been fueling me. But now I am reminded. Just as you need to remind yourself what is really driving you. And it could be many, many things. And in fact, probably the more the merrier, but we could probably narrow it down to maybe one or two, three key things that really generate our power, really generate our power. And it's a good thing to think about this because I've been feeling so fucking good lately. I've been feeling like calm and collected and chill, but at the same time, like I'm on top of the fucking world, like I could do anything. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. I feel abundant, you know, very abundant. Like I'm not really worried about money at all right now. I'm not worried about any relationships at all right now. I'm just focused on the next fucking task at hand. I'm just focused on how dope my routines are and how much I love doing this shit. Showing up to this camera. Hey, you know what? I got one person in here right now, Will Rios, and there might be some more showing up. But even if nobody was in here, then goddamn, you know what? I'm still my number one fan. I still got to do this and show up. I still got to practice. I still got to communicate. I still got to talk. And that's just what dedication is. So what fuels me? What fuels me to show up, to still talk, to still create in my mind as I'm speaking? Because as I'm speaking, I'm having to take this from somewhere and deliver it to you. Now, keep in mind, I'm not the type of guy that's just going to write out list, bullet point, and then give it to you. Sometimes I barely even have a topic before going into this. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about sometimes, yet I still do it. And I'm still able to maintain everything on track and flow with it. Because there's a fuel that drives me to do this. There's a fuel that drives me to do everything that I do. A fuel that drives me to speak, work out. There is a fuel inside that drives me to want to work on projects, want to work with people, create businesses. And I utilize that every single second, every single hour. And I think that's really what brought me here. That is really what has brought me here. Because I knew that I had to sign up to, what was it back in the day? Fucking was it Diamond Mind? I don't even remember what classes or lectures they were. It was so long ago. I'm pretty sure it was Diamond Mind. I'm pretty sure it was. Because things were changing and the world was changing. And the next thing you know, this fucking bullshit virus sweeps over the world. Fucking COVID. What a fucking trip. Feeling like I was in like a sci-fi movie or some shit. Like, what the fuck was going on? And the funny part is I made the most money I ever made in fucking 2020 during the fucking pandemic because I hustled my ass off. There's nothing else to do besides work out, make money. That's what I always done. Practically. No, not everything I always done, but you know, big part of it. But it's the fuel that drives us, right? And we all have to search through the past. Search through the past. Yeah. Search through the past. Some months ago, I spoke to Gio and I gave him a special process of mine that I like to do. And I think I really only told this to Gio, but I'll share it right now. I'll share you what this process is. So think of yourself as a timeline, right? And in the past, you have different versions of you. There's a different version let's take Will, or we could take Jaime, for example, any one of you, right? Through your timeline, there's different versions of you from, let's say, from the time you were like 12 years old all the way till now. Along that timeline, you've had, let's say, the version of you when you were like 16, right? That version of you had different tastes, different views of the world, maybe some different dreams, just a different outlook, right? And you could fast forward to the 18-year-old version of you. Slightly different guy, different tastes, different dreams, different outlooks, certain things that he wanted, didn't want, right? That was still a real version of you. That guy was real, right? You could fast forward it to the 23-year-old version of you, and so on and so forth, right? Part of that is as I go back in time and I see that person, that younger version of me, and I think to myself, what would he want to see in me that would make him really fucking proud? If he heard that 28-year-old Alex was doing, that he'd be like, damn, like, you're that fucking guy. What are those things that would impress, not even impress, because impress is such a weird word to me. What would that younger version of you want to see in the older version of you that would make you like a fucking hero? And I strive to do those things, that if I went back in time to when I was 12, 16, 18, 19, and I would say I'm doing this, this, and this, and this, then that younger version of me would be like, fuck, you're exactly what I want to be. And you know what? When I sat back and I thought about it, I thought about a lot of the things that I've done. I've nailed it pretty good. I've nailed it pretty fucking good. And I'm proud to say that. I'm very proud to say that. Just in the little things that I've done. As I scratch behind my ear real quick. Just in the little things that I've done. It doesn't have to be anything major. I don't need to be fucking Bill Gates. I really don't. And then even the version of me now, who I am now, there's a version of me, and who knows how many years from now, to where I'd be like, oh, fuck, bro, you're fucking killing it. I need that power. But you see, the crazy thing is that's still me in the future. That's me. There's no difference. Me now and me 16 years ago, we're still the same fucking guy. We're still the same guy. I've just evolved. But I'm doing so in a way to where I'm in line with the things that I've always wanted. I'm staying true to myself. I'm staying very true to myself. And though there have been times in the course where we may drift, where I have drifted, and I wasn't being true to myself, I've always found a way and eventually made it back on that track. Because life only wants the best for us. And if we're devolving, it's anti-survival, it's anti-life. And I know the signs of that now because I've been there. All it took was for me to get into a long-term relationship, for me to like start going backwards and everything. Literally. Never make that mistake again. I'll never make that mistake again. Everything was cool up until that long-term relationship. And it's just like kryptonite. Because I didn't do it right. I didn't handle it right. I didn't know the things that I know now. Now I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. Starting to talk about relationships and shit and how it makes you weaker. But all I'm saying is just know what fucking fuels you. Know what fuels you. Know where you're going. Stay true to yourself. You know. And at the end of the day, we continue to create more and more and more and more. And as I go through my day-to-day, through my work experiences, I just continue to notice that I am on a completely different path than my peers, my you know, whatever the fuck you want to call them, acquaintances or associates or whatever the fuck. on a very different path. And people need this stuff. They need this shit. They need to hear this. They really do need to hear this. And it makes me wonder, you know, what each and every individual is going to do with the knowledge that we have as time moves forward. Because we're all going to interpret our knowledge in the way that we do, in line with the knowledge, but everyone has their own little twists and flavors in the way that they do things differently. However, the future is very bright. It's very bright. Because each and every day I wake up, I check myself. How am I feeling? Good. Lots of good. Hit that cold water, get in that cold shower, fucking full blast, icy cold. I'm hitting almost a minute now. Almost a minute. I got fucking brain freeze when I'm hopping out of that cold shower. Brain freeze. It burns. It burns. But it burns really good. Wakes me the fuck up. I know most people could relate. Well, this was my first one for the week. I'm really just kicking it off right now. Reopening the vocal cords and the communication. Gathering my thoughts. Tomorrow is going to be a fucking amazing day. I can't wait to see what I got to deliver tomorrow. So yeah, I really just wanted to say what's up and be the best, fuck the rest. I'm not going to open it up tonight. I'm going to lock down and I'm going to have the best fucking lockdown in the world. Shit's going to be nice. It already is nice. I'm already having the best lockdown in the world. This is part of my lockdown. Fuck. Just loving every second of this shit. Like, I stare out my window for like fucking 30 minutes sometimes just because I'm in love with the view. See, I don't need no fucking bitch. I don't need no fucking girl. I make me happy. I love myself. No girl could give me the amount of love in comparison to the love that I give to myself or to the love that my mother and my father have given me. No girl could ever match that. And that's fucking power to say. Power to say. Because I used to have an old frame. I used to have an old way of thinking that I like needed some girl's fucking love or approval. The fuck? The fuck was I smoking? I was smoking that shit. I was smoking that shit, boy. No, I wasn't smoking that shit. I don't even like to smoke weed. You smoking that shit? You ever see those videos, ghetto ass videos? Like, man, you smoking that shit? I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. All right. I'm gonna log off. Be the best. Fuck the rest. Let's get this lockdown going. Get your rest up. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.